Yeah.
Order filled. Check us out.
You know what time it is.
This is Mighty Soldiers exclusive.
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it.
What's up, guys? Andy with Mighty Soldiers Trades. We have an audio issue going on in the background here. But anyways, guys, I am super pumped for tonight. We have Gianni DePoche, John Ho, and the blind trader Michael Holcomb here today, guys. This is super. We've already had a nice show before the show began, and I'm just excited to have you guys on here. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anyways, so guys, I'm just gonna say exactly what I've told you guys already. On our notes tonight, guys, we have three different things on the agenda. John Ho, location. Gianni, he's a farmer in patience, and he put out a tweet earlier and how those two relate. And Mike, distraction. He's got his truck driving game, keeping him out of bad trades and everything. So
and,
you guys,
and I'm here to get some seeds from the farmer.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
For you.
So to start this off, Mike, if you don't mind, go ahead and introducing yourself. I know you started getting that with John earlier, but if you could tell Gianni and the rest of us just exactly what you were telling us earlier.
Yeah. We were talking about my journey of becoming into trading here. And when I first started out, actually me and John there were just talking about it. My emotions I always felt like were because of my eyesight, where I was losing my sight, or I'm losing my sight, I'm always getting emotional. And I told him, I was like, man, that helps me in trading immediately, because I'm already there when it comes emotional. I'm ready. I know how to fight my emotions, even though at the very beginning, I kind of came out this wrong, y'all. Sorry, but I was kind of finishing up where we started at, wasn't I? But you lose you don't, whenever you first start trading, man, you're going to be emotional, and I still was, even though I thought I would not be. I thought, man, I can handle this. No, you're still an emotional person, but it's something I had to kind of work toward there. And
Mike, if we can back this up, why is your name the Blind Trader?
Oh, I have retinitis pigmentosa.
So basically, you're saying that you having to deal with this has helped you to already dealt with all these emotions associated with that. So now when you're in here, I completely agree, man. Life has hit me 1,000 different ways, and it's helped me. But then the market is helping me to deal with life. I'm guessing you guys agree, Gianni and John.
You won't come back to me. I can get back on here and just let me clear my head.
But anyways, guys, go ahead.
I like to step away when I found that if my personal life's dragging on me too much, it's usually best to step away.
Yeah,
from the screen.
And see, that's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. But if I look at my results during difficult times, I wish I would have stepped away during some of those times.
Yeah. I have to lay down and rest my eyes all the time, because as soon as they get sore, I cannot sit here and look at these charts. I can't look at the TV screen or anything. It's tough having to step away. And when you're in the market and you're being emotional with the market, and then you're having to step away because of another issue. Oh man, because you need to be in front of that market. But at the same time, that helps me to I'll just take my loss or take out the even trade and call it as is what it is, because I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
And I have to take that break. It's hard to do, but it's something I work toward.
Right.
Go ahead, John.
But one thing, I do learn that, when you deal with physical health issues and you kind of feel bad, you walk away losing, you don't want to miss the trade. But actually, if you stay in the trade, it probably will increase your stress. It's better just to walk away, That's something I learned from my life. Just not just about trading, adding escalate more stress is surely not good for health and not for, mentally either. So it's better. I mean, you take the loss, but then, you can always get it back next time. Market always give you a chance, right?
Yeah. Right.
You say that, John, but for me, I am hard-headed. And I always say that I'm game also, which is a big problem because that means that, if I'm game to interact with the market that's rude to me, that's not good for my account. And whenever I've had life hit me with the worst pain and problems, that's when I've made my biggest mistakes here. That's when I'm sitting there, I'm looking at myself going, this is I wouldn't even be buying this. This is against what I stand for. I don't know what's going on. Who is this guy that's pushing these buttons right now? And why is he holding on to this loser or getting into this loser or whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's interesting how life can really mess with you and get you to you're sort of just a different person at sometimes,
Yeah, I agree, Andy. I think that's also part of the being disciplined, as a trader, because this is part of the discipline. It's not easy to be disciplined, but you kind of learn from different aspects in your life when things started hitting you, and you try to correct it, and hopefully you're not making the same mistake again. So
yeah.
We were talking earlier, and that basically Agnieszka Wood and Tom Basso, Peter Robbins, all these people, they've said the same thing that in order to isolate this, they isolate their strategies. Their strategy is more of a systematic approach, and then when they tweak that, they tweak it away from the desk. Not while they're in active trades. Anyways, Gianni, is there anything that you're seeing in the markets lately that you'd like to share with us? And would you like to let us know how the whole, farmer and trader go hand in hand?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll start with the farming trading thing. We'll start with the principles and then get into the macro look. So yeah, really, you guys were kind of touching on it a moment ago. It comes down to strategies. Sometimes trades are just not going to work out. Sometimes I will plant a crop and it looks really good under the lights inside of my house, but when I transplant it, a bird will get to it or some other pest, and that's like taking a stop loss. You really can't control. You really can't control those factors. You can only control what you can control, and really, there's a time and place for everything. So if you are a breakout trader, you have to recognize where you are in the cycle, and when you're not in a breakout cycle of the market, if you're in a congestion phase, you have to recognize that you're not trading during that time. So that would be, for a farming analogy, that'd be during the winter. You're not going to plant seeds in the winter if you're expecting to grow something. It's the same thing if you're a breakout trader trying to trade in a congested market. So those are the types of principles that I'm talking about. Knowing where you are in time seasonally, because there's a time and place for everything. Every season serves its purpose, and that applies in markets and in agriculture as well. So when it comes to markets, this is actually a pretty good segue into some of the macro stuff I want to talk about. We have some important inflation data next week. Fed Chair Powell set to speak, and right now it looks like the market's expecting him to hold rates where they are. But we do have a CPI report the day before that, so if that comes in above expectations, we could get a last-minute surprise rate hike. Not my preferred scenario, but the primary driver of inflation is commodities. So I'm looking across the commodity complex here, and I'm seeing commercial hedgers, being most net long on some of these grains that they have been in a few years, and seeing, crude oil commercial hedgers, they haven't been, the number of shorts on crude oil commercial hedgers hasn't been this small going back to like 2016. So I'm not really in the camp that inflation is over. I think we just saw the first wave. Now, I'm not a hyperinflationist and not a dollar collapse individual either. But, we could see another wave. And I think similar to trend following in markets, we have to see where this next high takes us. If it comes in below the June 22 high, which is crazy to think, we had the inflation peak this time last year. If it comes in below that, that's a lower high. That's good news. But if we take out that 9.1 reading from June of 2022, then I think the inflation story could get a lot more nasty before it's all said and done.
And John, do you have anything to share with us about location? I know you were telling me this morning.
Yes. I just want to touch upon something, Johnny just mentioned about the positioning of the commercial traders. And, we talked about earlier before, Johnny, you got in, I mentioned about COT, Johnny, I'm sure very much familiar. It's coming out on Friday. It's commitment of traders for future traders. You have to look at this. It's very, very important. So, next thing I'm going to talk about is location. Just from my humble experience in 10 years in trading, I just find people talk about support and resistance, supply and demand or breakout, but ultimately it comes down to the location on the chart, where you execute your trade, right? That's very important. So be able to identify selling pressure and buying strength on the chart is very important for a trader, where you can mitigate your risks and execute proper trade in certain locations. That's all I'm looking at. When I look at the chart, I don't look at nothing else. Just focus on one thing, location. When I spot that, I dive in. However, I also want to mention it's a strategy, right? So, how am I going to apply either breakout or supply and demand or support resistance? You got to deal, just like Johnny mentioned about it's seasonal, right? If you trade future products, certain future products are seasonal, and Johnny mentioned about agricultural products, right? I don't trade soft, but I primarily focus on oil, gold, and currency products. Sometimes I do trade ES. So for me, I have to look at the, I use correlation as my edge being a trader. It's very important.
Yeah.
I think that Johnny probably would agree. Being an experienced trader, if you understand correlation, that really helps you to find opportunities to trade the right product. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
I give example about last night, about 3 weeks ago, I made a post in one of the groups. I indicated dollar index may retreat in the days or weeks to come. So third weeks on May 25th, I made that posting. Yesterday, dollar made a huge drop yesterday. It was a big bearish candle, right? So going into the third week, we have seen DXY retreated. However, if you look at the monthly chart, I do expect it could be trading in the range of the current area, and then below there's two demand monthly levels. But we'll see. I do expect then. So I took advantage this morning and understanding that this is the opportunity. Dollar is retreating, so I focus on British pound. I look at other products too, right? And I saw the best opportunity to trade this morning was British pound and Aussie offers the best opportunity. So I put my order in last night before I went to bed, right? It was triggered overnight, and then in the morning, shortly after market opened, both targets hit. So I was very happy just to walk away. So I just want to mention about a trader understand location. It really gives you an edge, in trading.
John, what I call that is a defensible zone. I gotta be able to look at the structure and then identify a defensible zone. And in order to identify a defensible zone, there's a lot of things that go into that, including correlation, like you're saying. And that's why I love talking to Gianni and you, John, and Steven, and even Mike here, because you guys are all teaching me more about correlation and just advancing my understanding of all this stuff, so I can create a better plan to find that zone and because if we do the work before we get in, it's a lot easier than trying to fight against the market, if we're already in. And fighting against the market is not a trading plan, that's just hope. And anyway.
Right. That's why I like doing what I do over here, just driving my truck and because I can I get to listen to everything because, all you need to do is have on your podcast what you listen to for news, everything in the background, and then I can sit here and I can drive me some miles in this rig on a simulation thing and watch and wait for these execution points to arrive, because a lot of people, man, when I first started, you would be staring at that screen the whole time like, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. I'm getting in. Even if it's small, I'm getting in right now. No, I can wait a little longer now because I'm like, it ain't done yet. And I look away from it for a minute and roll on, come back, and I'm like, I was right. Now, when I roll on and I stop and go, whoa, it's holding up here. Okay, all right, this may be an interesting spot because now it's at my level where I was looking for it. It's bouncing. I got me a stop. I know I'm gonna cut it if we start dropping right back below that. It just, you need something. You need some distractions in trading to keep you from being emotionally attached to it 24/7. You have to have some type of distraction. If you don't, you will sit here at this thing and drive yourself crazy.
Right. I agree.
If you guys don't mind, like one thing that I've been forcing myself to do lately, and I'd like to know if you guys do this at all. the several percentage of my trades, I force myself to not take that trade, to just watch it and like just sort of just to learn from it rather than to interact with it. That way, I have a different head when I'm doing that. Do you guys do that in your trades, where you stand off if you see a trade? Like sometimes you just watch it instead.
Well, I think that it's your own based on your own strategy and your own discipline. What's your trade plan? Risk management is always number one, right? Yeah. And then you gotta have a strategy that you don't just go out shoot at all different climate situation, right? Your strategy. I mean, honestly, I'm sure Johnny would agree that strategy only works for certain conditions. That's it. When if it's market going consolidation or sideways and not trending, your strategy only if your strategy works for either downtrend or uptrend trending, right. And that's what the strategy is for. It's not going to work in consolidation or sideways market. So either you're going to have to stay out, stay put, or you do nothing. But sometimes being a trader, we take losses because you don't know how market's going to react, right? You make the initial move, you thought it's going to trend, and then the market proved you wrong because market started consolidating, going sideways. So you learn that when you see that, you need to step back and just wait, right?
Yeah, I was fixing to say that's where that you got to have a distraction, because that all them emotions can pop up at one time and just one after another right in a row, and you'll be an emotional mess. So sometimes you take a look away. You reevaluate. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Mike. I know, Gianni, you're always talking about time frame. Time frame matters. And whenever I ask my questions, you guys, a lot of times I'm speaking from a degenerative day trader. Like my time frame is what's happening right now. So it's probably best for me to sit back and not take all those trades. But if I'm watching, many different assets at the same time and they're all lining up and everything is there, I don't hold off and wait and watch that. I just take my trade and set my stop and just let it do its work, and whatever happens at that point. Like you said, Gianni, with the gardening, that's amazing. That was super awesome, man. But it's so true that when you put those crops out there, rabbits can get them, or just about anything can happen.
Yeah, you can only control what you can control, or you could have a drought, you could have inclement weather. That's why that's why futures markets came to be, right? To protect farmers, producers, to protect the buyers. The more you know about the history, the people thought about this thousands of years ago. So,
right.
No, you bring that up. Hold that real quick. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Okay. Is it still okay? It only echoes when
Just
I
go ahead,
go.
What's that?
What all do you grow on your farm?
No, I do mainly vegetables. So I have
all right. Well, that's
quite a bit of tomatoes, zucchini, cucumber. I sell to restaurants. I run a CSA.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. When I was a kid,
it's a micro. It's a very intense micro operation. So it's all about efficiency. And
my family's all of us grew up on farms when we was kids around here. Yeah. But now you don't see my kids. They've never even been on them other than going to a pumpkin patch. That's a farm to them.
Yeah.
And we grew up on them. They just it's wild how one day you know all about that stuff, and then bam, you don't know nothing about farming no more.
Yeah.
I enjoy fun out there. I used to play around with tractors. Yeah.
Not trading related so much, but Mike, that Brandon is a farmer as well, and he was from our Discord. Brandon, anyways, I've been saying that I want to work out more and everything, and I told Sarah, I asked her, I said, you think I should get a gym membership too? I already have equipment here and everything, and then he's got me inspired to just get out there and dig. And Gianni, same thing. It is so good for your head to just get out there and dig and you're working out. It's like you're not paying anybody to do it, and you're making everying look better, or else you're feeding yourself.
For your mental health too. I mean, when you're doing that physical labor, you're not really thinking about why you might be happy or sad. You're just trying to get the task done. So it is like the physical exertion does help you forget, I suppose, some of your mental occupations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's I don't know. Save the money, get out there and do that, make it look beautiful. But just what you're saying, mental health. For mental health, for me, as you know, Gianni, is like from the Army. I have this thing to where sometimes I I can't talk to people that I know that I want to talk to. It just like there's something in me that just kind of stops me from doing it. Even some of these shows sometimes. And what you're saying is exactly true. If I get out there and just dig and make things look better and exert that energy, I come back here and I'm a lot more confident and happy to get on here and talk to the people that I want to talk to. And that helps in trades as well. Because, you know, like I said, coming to this desk, if we're not 100%, we're more likely to lose or make foolish decisions. And getting out there and doing something like that can only help us. That's the most important thing. Anything else you guys want to share or talk about? I mean, feel free, man.
Yeah. Well, I think one last thing I wanted to touch upon. I mean, since you guys all talk about distraction and emotion and stuff, you know, one of the topics I think we mentioned about, you can ask Leah or Agassi Wood, and I just think that, you know, in order for psychology to work well, you have to establish a trusted strategy first, right? You know, without a trusted strategy, you know, your emotion going to be all over the place, right? So, you know, having a trusted strategy that you tested multiple times, and it doesn't matter what volatility the market's going to be, you know, you just allow the probability to play out, right? And then, you know, it's hard to eliminate all emotions while human being, but, you know, I think if you can just accomplish 70 to 80%, you know, without emotion, that you'd be doing fine. Your trade's going to come out positive. You're going to have 20, 30% emotion, but that's no problem. If you can just accomplish 60, 70% or 80%, you're going to be fine, right? You know? So, yeah, I think that ultimately having a trusted strategy is very, very important for any traders because, you know, I myself struggled with emotion for the first 4 or 5 years in my trading. And until I found a trusted strategy and then worked out, it changed my whole trading, you know, my outcome and everything, you know, because I don't have to worry about, because I know this is where the strength is, buying strength or selling pressure. I identify these things on the chart, and then I know, and that's my strategy. It's been tested out many, many times. I don't have to worry about the volatility, right? The next thing I do is manage my trade size. You know, I don't over risk myself, you know, so, and then you just allow the probability to play out, you know.
Well, John, I look forward to having you back to let us in on how exactly you find those zones and everything. Cause you know, that I think that's the question that everybody has, you know, what exactly do you put into finding these levels, these zones, strength and, you know, all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Cause my zones are still a little wider than I want them to be. Gotta
you know,
work on that.
when you see, I mean, you know, when you see people that they draw levels on a chart, right? And I have to say, this is for scalpers. You know, scalpers do that because in reality, you know, your stop loss, and your level, it's going to be, you look at a wider zone, not just a one narrow zone, because people scalp. That's why I don't scalp. I don't like scalping, you know, because scalp doesn't work that well, you know. People, and then for scalpers, they often miss out the bigger time frame, because I always believe the bigger time frame dominate the direction of the trend.
Absolutely.
I've grown. I've grown.
I don't know who I was talking. Sorry, Mike.
No, you're good.
I'm always cutting you off, man. But I don't know who I was talking to recently, but yeah, basically that's the same point. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. I was
just agreeing with both of them. I was just agreeing with both of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Andy, just one last thing. I know that me and you talk about, you know, we both have the same focus. You know, we like to find the soft spot on the market, right? You know, I mean, there's different products out there. You know, if you trade futures or forex market, you know, or stocks, but there's one soft spot. You find a soft spot and take your best shot. You know, if you're a day trader or you're a swing trader, you know, I think that's another focus. You don't want to fight hard, right? You want to fight hard with the product that, you know, it's not going to fit in your strategy. Just look for the soft spot. Just like you be in a battlefield, you punch the weak spot of the enemy zone, right?
Yeah, that's what I love, John, that you say is basically, you know, find that soft spot, find the spot that you can break through, and don't just get in here fighting anything. You know, in fact, if you're really trading the best that you can, you're not fighting at all. You know, it's working out. It's a lot more calm. But it's when we decide to do things outside of our plan or what we know is best, maybe that sort of thing happens. But yeah, I recently for myself, I found that a larger zone, instead of zooming in too much, is exactly where I need to be. And I've also been handling a lot of my trades with more of a portfolio approach. And with that going on, whenever I'm losing, I just go shopping and I get some winners, and I wake up the next day and they're covering the losers. I just broke even on my account back at the highs. So, and that's just by going and shopping and letting a basket of stocks do their work rather than me just going and zooming in on one play, thinking that I need to make so much money on this. Like, you can do that, sure. But when you're doing that, you have to be so much more disciplined. It's a lot more strenuous to go and like find the penny ripper of the day or whatever's hitting the scanner and just trade that one trade. There's a lot more pressure on that, but letting yourself shop for something for strength and that soft spot and getting several of those at once. And then if a couple of them go wrong and still stop out, the other ones that are going right, they're carrying me into the positive territory and higher highs in my account. I imagine at the end of this year, I'm going to have a very impressive number. It's just, I'm loving this, guys. I'm loving this.
Which y'all, I got some professionals here. Well, you all are like, I follow I feel like I'm pretty sure Giovanni does you too. I follow you somewhere. I'm always watching y'all. But what y'all's thing on the U.S. dollar right now? What's y'all's opinion there? Do y'all think we're going to hold? Do we drop below this 100 mark eventually? I think it was 104 the last time I checked. Are we gonna? This is new territory. I feel like for me as a trader, I really just started learning about the U.S. dollar index.
Yeah.
About 2 years ago. That's the reason I guess I don't know as much about it. I'm trying to learn a lot because a lot of people that I follow have been teaching me about, that they look at that you always hear them talking about the index, U.S. index, trying to look at that dollar. So I've been focused on it, but I have been able to trade it on a daily basis, but on a long term, I guess is my question. What would you be looking at on the dollar? Where do you see the dollar going to on the downside, I guess? Anybody got any opinions there?
I mean, longer term, I'm pretty bullish the dollar, but like John was saying, we have the short term downturn here. If we take out those lows, in that 100 area, that's going to be nasty. But I'd like to see it hold. I mean, if the Fed pivots and cuts rates, I think we'll see a breakdown.
Yeah.
But if inflation,
I agree. Yes. And then also, Johnny, I think it's also interesting to watch gold. To watch gold, where gold's going to go from here, right? So we're just going to have to monitor that. Yeah. It's very important.
But you guys look at this
105, 106. I mean, it could probably hit 120, mainly because I'm more bearish on the euro than the dollar, right? And the euro is the main currency in the dollar index. So
the euro is the one everybody's been talking about.
The thing is like you have to know what's in the dollar index, because if you look at the dollar against the Mexican peso is at its strongest level since 2016, 2017. So that's not going to be reflected in the dollar index because it has such a small weighting in that basket. Right. So when I say I'm bullish in the dollar, it's more so because I'm bearish on the yen than I'm bearish on the euro compared to the dollar, because that's how the currencies work their pairs. But the dollar is not universally bearish. You have to compare it. Bullish, excuse me.
You're right.
I said, against the Mexican peso, that's been a great trade.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, just to add what you just mentioned about the dollar, right? Just actually a couple of days ago, I was listening to Bloomberg. They were talking about in the emerging market, dollar's going to be weakening.
Yeah, it could be
emerging currencies. Yes.
Yeah.
Dollar's going to be continuing to weaken. So you're not going to see that in the developed market, in the majors, against New Zealand dollar, Aussie, Canadian dollar, but in the emerging market, it shows a different picture. Right, I agree.
Now, as a U.S. based company, that'll affect your stock, right? But maybe outside of the U.S., maybe not so much.
Depends where you're selling.
Okay.
So if you have operations in emerging markets, then that helps you. But if you have operations in Europe or Japan, that would probably hurt you.
Yeah,
got you. Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, forex market is a fantastic market. I always ask Andy try to get back in. I say, Andy, you should get back into forex.
I'm like you, John. Though I like to trade the futures forex better than
me too.
I think it's a lot cleaner market than the.
It is. I mean, I trade both. I actually I have both Forex long, British pound against US dollar, and then Aussie last night. I was very happy this morning because all my targets were hit and everything. Yeah. And I walk away from the future because you know what? Actually, Johnny, the currency future gonna roll over either Sunday or next Monday. It's very, very quick. It's coming right now. Right. Yeah. That's why I want to get out of position. Because the next thing's gonna be the U contract. That's the September contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've been hearing a lot of people just say that basically the dollar's doomed. There's a lot of fear out there on the dollar. So I would assume that when I start hearing stuff like that, it's probably time to look at the dollar as this double bottom that we have here and see how far that's gonna carry us. But I mean, that's just my opinion, guys. We're not here to tell anybody how to make trades or how to manage your money. There's no way I can do that, and I don't think anybody else claims here that we can do that.
Bar chart.
Two of the things we just talked about, I use a lot. I use them for my U.S. dollar index, and I use them for my CO whatever it is.
COT.
Yeah, COT. Yeah.
Yes.
Because they have it's easily located. That's why I like. For me, it's got to be written down there for me to understand it. Yeah, and it's pretty plain for me.
Yes, we're not sponsored by Bar Chart, but Bar Chart's freaking amazing. They've shown so much support, and dude, if you get into their website, there's so much free that I don't even think that you need a subscription almost.
Hey, their Twitter alone is pretty awesome. Yeah,
it's crazy how much they offer for free, is what I'm saying. Yeah. But dude, get in there, check it out. And you got the cup there, Mike. I love that.
Right.
Yeah, I got to say something about them. I'm drinking their cup. Yeah.
Anyways, guys, I really appreciate you guys joining us tonight, man. And great stuff. Yeah. Maybe I'll get better at this whole round table thing and not cutting Mike off.
Me too. I got nervous, Andy.
I did work out very well, and thank you for hosting this. All of us got meet together, and then nice meeting you, both Michael and Johnny. Look forward to the other show with you again. Yeah.
And you guys, Big Beat Stephen Orr, he is coming back, I believe, July 5th. He's off on vacation again. He lives an excellent life, it seems, from what I see. And anyways, when he gets back, he agreed that he would come on and join us too. So if you guys are down, we can all get together again soon, but even maybe before then. So anyways, guys, thanks so much. Have a good night. Have a good evening.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Take care. All right.
See you later. Thanks for joining us too. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Ordered Phil, check us out.
You know what time it is.
This is the Mighty Soldiers exclusive.
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like,
If you with the squad, then you already know what's up. It be going down, but my account is going up. I'm about to make another 100,000 bucks. Rolling up that chain, I'm about to take another puff.
Hold up, I made a killing, now my pockets got swollen. Independent, now I'm taking over. I'm a lot richer, you a lot broker. I'm a pot smoker, stockbroker, blowing up like a supernova. On my mama, I was born a soldier, the best in the game, man. I thought I told you. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like, I am unstoppable, I can do anything I ever wanted to. Never did anything they ever wanted me to. Got on my side and I'm not gonna lose and they're not gonna win. I see them, the haters, it's all cause I'm getting dollars again. Commas on commas on commas, I'm buying the dip. The market is dropping again. I can see him hating from the sideline. If you see a hater, tell him bye-bye. Watch my money grow, 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 grow. And my wifey like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa! Somebody better stop me cause there ain't no competition and I'm coming for the top position. Obliterating the opposition every time that I jot it in the composition. Everybody wanna stop and listen cause I bring it to you hotter than the oven in your mama kitchen. I'll be getting here like a politician. I'ma get bread when you stack looking taller than Scottie Pippen. Ain't nobody ready for the Armageddon when I pop the clip and I ain't playing. I'm spraying you brain, I'm bringing the pain like Damon Wayne. You disappear like David Blaine. I'm dropping bombs, Saddam Hussein. Stop and aim, pop you lames and pop champagne. I ain't playing so stop the games, you know the name. If you wanna take it to the streets, let's get it. If you wanna take it to the booth, let's get it. I'm about to take it to the top, let's get it. We ain't never ever gonna stop, let's get it. You ain't never heard nobody spit like this. Call the paramedics when I get like this. Front page news when I wreck like this. Hop in the booth and I wreck that shit like, Yeah.